Hello everyone, hope y'all are enjoying springtime. Today I decided to switch gears a bit from my typical bread baking videos to show you a really quick and easy way to display your Easter goodies, which is by making chocolate eggs nests. In this particular case yesterday, I made one really quick out of a soup bowl to display my cookie dough and brownie pops in. You can make these any size you want, depending on the size of your eggs or the dessert. You can make a full table-sized kind of centerpiece display, or you can make smaller ones, like with cupcake tins or smaller glass bowls. So you can make them either out of chocolate or frosting. The buttercream ones will be made in the exact same way. I've done both this season, but today we're going to focus on how to make the chocolate variety. So for the chocolate, you're going to either use Chipits. It doesn't have to be chocolate. You can, if you want peanut butter or the butterscotch ones, you can use whatever Chipits you want and mix them up if you want to. It doesn't really matter. And you'll heat them in the microwave at 30-second intervals. Now, if you use the Chipits, your product, it will not ever completely dry well, and when you pick it up, if it's at room temperature, it'll start melting in your hands straight away. So it really depends on what you're using it for. Those probably would be best kept in the fridge. Otherwise, you can buy candy melts online. Again, you can use whatever colors you want, no judgment here. And the process is the exact same. So as I've already made plenty of bird's nests this season, I'm just going to do one. And I'm going to use just the smaller variety. So what you're going to want to do is cover whatever shape you're using or whatever size you've chosen in tin foil. Now, a bird's nest is not this deep. So when you cover it in tin foil, you're going to want to be a little bit more shallow. First of all, it helps you display your goodies because it's more of a plate shaped. And again, typically bird's nests are not as deep as a bowl. So once your chocolate is melted, and again, if you want to melt it in the microwave or in a double boiler, that's really up to you. In the microwave, again, the 30-second intervals, when all of your chocolate is almost melted, you'll want to stop and possibly just let it sit for a bit, because you can, those of you who aren't accustomed with working with chocolate, you can certainly overcook it and then it becomes a congealed mess that you can't really use. Then you're going to put your chocolate in a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, no problem. Just use a regular Ziploc bag and cut the corner out like I'm about to do. And you're just going to snip, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it really well on this video, just the very tip off like so. So it's a very, very small opening that we're dealing with here. This is the easiest thing in the world, guys. So I'm just going to do one again because I've done many nests this season. I don't need more. And then you're literally going to pipe the chocolate on in sort of like a swirling motion. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to want a solid base, so maybe a little bit more chocolate on the bottom, especially if it's meant to hold things. And then you're just going to go around the edge. Again, don't worry about any chocolate spraying around everywhere, because you can break this off once it's nice and cool. And we're pretty much done. That is how fast this is. There you go. There's your nest. Now you can either let this sit out at room temperature until it solidifies, or if you're in a rush, just pop it in the fridge. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back in a second. All right, 5 minutes in and we are finished. In the fridge, already set. You can tell this is something that you can whip up super quick before guests arrive or whatnot, and it's really super easy and fun to do with your kids. So at this point, we can just take the tin foil, pick the tin foil up, and very carefully start unsticking the nest. You just have to be sure you don't want to break the whole thing. Now, if you do break it, it's not a big deal. You can actually remelt your chocolate and start over, which is another wonderful thing about this. And if you don't end up eating your bird's nest, you can remelt your chocolate, use it for something else. All right, so there we have it. And we're done. Simple as that. Now, the wonderful thing, as I said, even if pieces start breaking off, it's a bird's nest. Bird's nests are not perfect. There's holes in there. If you have a whole bunch of chocolate that's sprayed all over the place, you can just break off those pieces. It'll just give it a more authentic bird's nest kind of look. Now, for the cupcake size ones, you can most likely either fit a single large egg in there for a decoration, or you can grab some little mini eggs and put those in there. You can either put the actual chocolate nests on top of a cake or cupcake, multiple small ones, one big one. If you're going to be using the buttercream or the frosting method, it's the exact same way. You would just put it into a piping bag or a Ziploc bag, cut one tiny hole at the bottom and do that swirl technique like I suggested. The only thing is, for both of them, I'll talk about thinning. If you want to thin either your chocolate or your frosting, if it's a little bit too thick to pipe out well, you'll want to use a tiny bit of shortening melted in with your chocolate, just a bit, and because you don't want it soupy. If it's soupy, then you're going to lose all the definition. Same thing with your frosting. With frosting, it would be a little bit of milk. I believe that the frosting that you buy at the store that's pre-made probably would work well. It's been a while since I've used it, so I can't remember the texture exactly right. But if it is too thick, you can just add that milk to thin it out. Again, just be careful not to over thin, because then it's easier to go the other direction. And as I said, these are reusable. If you want to remelt, if you're not interested in eating the nests, you can certainly remelt the chocolate and do something else at a later time. So that's it. I hope everybody has a wonderful Easter, and I will see you soon with another bread baking video.